What's up, everybody? I'm Randy with Academia Christi, here with another episode of the Viri Christi Garden Vlog, episode 11. This is May the 23rd. It's been well over a week since the last garden vlog. Actually, I guess it's only been a week and a day since the last garden vlog because I'm off so far. But hopefully I will remedy that in the near future. I know I said I was going to do it this time, but I failed again. So here we are. I'm not gonna make up different dates anymore. I'm gonna just give it the date that it's supposed to have, which is the 23rd. That's fine. I'm gonna also make up for it by hopefully showing you a lot of new interesting things that were going on. I wasn't doing nothing. I was kind of doing nothing, but wasn't doing absolutely nothing. As you can see, there's something going on right here already different. And also, I'm going to do this a little differently, just as a bonus, because, I've been very late the past several vlogs. So I figured I would do it a little differently and hope that I can maybe do a vlog every 6 days to catch back up and get back to maybe a Thursday vlog or Friday vlog, maybe. I don't know, something like that. Anywho, one last thing I should note before I get started is that, as you can see here, I'll be talking about later, we have our peppers from indoors that are outdoors now, and you might be able to see this guy. Well, I will eat this pepper at the end of the vlog today, so that will also be a treat, and I guess maybe penance for me for taking so long to get this one out. But anyway, this is Garden Vlog, episode 11. Hope you enjoy. All right, well, there hasn't been a whole lot going on here recently in past episodes, but there is a little more now going on, so let's come in closer. The first thing to note, as this just starts to run right now, is our beautiful tomatoes coming up, all but our back two here that we should probably just replant, I think. That's the green zebra and the margalobe. Yes. And those are almost a month old now. In fact, I would like to get some of these out. Probably this one, which is our Amish paste. Maybe even this Cherokee purple here. Some of them, I don't know what's going on. Got some seed leaves coming off. I don't know if I should maybe fertilize them now. But I am hoping to get them out in their big pots I'm going to put them in soon, and I will fertilize them then, so hopefully they'll be okay until that point. We also have here our cayenne seeds and our jalapeno seeds. Just use some of these up, we'll see later on. These came out of a cayenne that I had recently. I can't remember what I even had it with. I think I cut it up and put it in mashed potatoes. It was pretty good. Got the rack here empty, other than, of course, our herbs that are drying at the top now. Pretty much what it's used for, I guess. More importantly, perhaps, is this new addition here. Finally got a bunch of melon seeds and more little peat pot things or whatever to start them in, so I can just put it straight into the ground, because cute cucurbits, melons, squash, apparently and gourds, pumpkins like that, all that family doesn't really like to be transplanted. So we're doing this. These little jiffy pots, they started as like a little pellet, put them in water, soaked up. So easy, so nice. So we have, probably can't read it from there, just 3 Haley's Best Cantaloupe, because we already had some of those started outside. Have 6 honeydew, green globe, something like that. We have 8 crimson sweet watermelon. We also have sugar baby, 8 sugar baby watermelon. And then finally we have 5 yellow canary melons, which I'm very excited to try. They apparently are one of those different types of melons that grow pretty decently in my area, so, or this climate. So that's interesting. That's all the melons. Over here we have a bunch of cucumbers. We have 5 more Market More. Again, they're all the ones that we had already started outside. So 5 Market More. Those are the tender green. Here we have our Boston pickling, and that would be the Space Master. I have 2 other types. I have Bay 8 Alpha, and I also have the Straight 8, which I'm going to do a lot of too. But a lot of those might go in the ground because, well, for one reason, I'm out of these peat pots. I might have to get more if I want to do that. But a lot of those can just go in the ground, so we'll see what happens. But these just got planted today. Super excited to see how they come up. And I suppose I can point out over here, just for posterity's sake, this strange house plant that isn't doing anything at all. Probably going to die because it has nothing to sustain it. Just branches is all it is. Have our cayennes drawing here. Hard to see with the shade, the darkness, but they were going well. I think I was a little preemptive. I cut them. I'm hoping they'll still dry properly cut like that. There's only that one that's not cut. I think that is doing okay though. And I'm not going to mess with it. I'm pretty sure that I read or heard or watched that it's ready whenever it just cracks. When you break it, it just cracks. So we will wait for that point. It does seem like it's getting close. It seems like it's maybe past the point that these were at when I ended up breaking them. So we'll see. These are some habaneros that I've had soaking in this water, rooting in this water for a long time. They can come out, I think, whenever. They're probably not going to get any bigger than that. They have decent root systems that also probably aren't going to get any bigger, so might as well. Here we have those big cayenne branch cuttings. I just wanted to see what they would do. And I don't know if you can see very well, but I don't see anything happening. Or do I? Oh, there goes a leaf. There's nothing left out of that one. Even if it had some roots started, which it actually may have. That one even has some new growth, it looks like, right there. Surprising. Well, I think that's a failed project, but that's okay. I'll do that. Clean that out later. Oh, and finally, one of our spearmint, the bigger of the spearmint, actually. We only went in here now. Pretty much failed. Hard to see it again, but it's there. I mean, it's kind of there. Pretty much dead. Should just let that go. And old Palmy here. Actually just got a little bit of watering today. Get out of here, other plant, branchy guy. Yeah. I mean, it's not completely dead, I guess. Who knows? All right, one of the older plants we have, at least this one, I guess the dill as well. It was transplanted out of a very tiny clay pot. The cucumber, I mean, it's certainly seen better days. I've neglected this a lot because whenever things started going outside, I was outside, and my laziness prevented me from coming in and doing anything to these most of the time. But as you can see, this cucumber, which was directly planted, directly sown right here, this one was transplanted a while ago. I mean, it's still doing decent. I remember I just said that cucurbits and melons and things don't like to be transplanted. Well, it worked. And also, if we zoom in enough, we may just have a cucumber sighting. I could probably break that very easily just by moving it like that, but yes, there is a very small, perhaps inch-long cucumber that's slowly filling up. I don't know if I should let the whole thing fill up or maybe just pick it soon. Clearly it's not going to serve much purpose, but this cucumber is pretty much shot anyway. It's not like it is just, they are just annuals, so it looks like it might just be done. but we'll keep it going. Zoom back out just a bit now so we can get a little bit of a look at this stuff. You can see, I mean, how much nicer than that. I guess you would have had to watch most of the vlogs to see how that progressed to this point, but I'll just tell you that this one looks much, much better. It was done properly, I would say. It could even use, this whole pot could probably use fertilized. Maybe if I remove that cucumber, I would do that. I just started training this one up this way. I don't know exactly what I'll have it do. I could maybe even put something on the outside to help it trellis instead of shoving stuff into the pot itself. Might be easier. This is just a little stick that was something I could use. Working out well. It's already starting to do its thing. The dill, I have not cut back for probably a week, honestly. I wanted to show also, I didn't cut it back today because I wanted to just show how nice and I would say vigorous it is. And that is also, I think, relative to the beginning of its life. If you would look in like a professional nursery or something, the dill would look much better than that. It'd be a nice bushy thing. But I mean, I'm getting quite a bit of dill from this thing, so I am not going to complain at all. In fact, if you saw that the herb drying tray we have over there, you probably could tell that we probably have enough dill to grind that up and have a decent bit of dill to use with whatever. If you even need to grind it up, I don't know. Could use it for this cucumber, and we could make one very tiny circular pickle. The only problem with the dill is it doesn't like to stay up on the side. I thought maybe it would do it. And does not quite care for it. I keep turning the pot too also. Okay, so outside now. It's just a tad windy, so I may have to heavily edit this, we'll see. Got our rhubarb looking nice. As always, it's been cut back substantially. We've eaten quite a bit of it. I tried it for the first time and I loved it. In fact, it'll be cut back a little further today. My grandmother is coming here and she will be taking some fresh, so that's nice. Cut it back just a bit further. There's actually this stalk up here that I chopped off because it was flowers, but then I read that you should actually rip the whole thing out like you would any other stalk, and so that's probably going to be one that we do. And I think now I bring you closer, you can tell there's the chopped stalk there, and it's hollow in there. And I've come to realize that it's those hollow ones that are where the flowers are going to come out from. I'll bring you down in here now for a look at our mustard. This is Green Wave, which is exactly what it looks like. Amazing. I just realized there's one of these prickly guys right there. There's a couple right here. I've neglected weeding, unfortunately. I need to get to that today probably. These guys are the problem, the biggest issue for us. I would say almost some of these, well, this definitely still needs to be thinned out a lot. But some of these leaves are getting pretty decent size that I would even consider throwing them in a salad. But I think you probably wouldn't want a full salad of mustard greens. Maybe you do, I don't know. Let's see what it tastes like. Let's thin it out. How about that? Let's thin it out, and that means we'll probably get a pretty young leaf in here, because we'll take one of these small ones. That'll do. That one will do. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Pull that guy out. Okay, that'll do. Nice. Few decent sized leaves. I don't really need that one. Those. That's not bad at all. pointy guys out. Make sure you're under on the stem. You know, stab yourself, prick yourself. It's pretty good. That's good mustard greens. I actually really enjoy that. Arugula, our arugula came up a little bit. Tried that for the first time. I really did not care for that. And yeah, if you can see that, I don't know. Let's bring you in closer. Yeah, there we go. There underneath these massive rhubarb leaves, you can maybe see our old-fashioned mustard. Obviously not going to come in as well because the rhubarb. But let's see. There's probably enough here that I wouldn't mind snagging out one of these guys. Oh, there's a very tiny one there. Great. Let's try that guy. Oh, that's nice. It's like I'm holding it under the camera, like four nice size leaves there. I mean, again, they're baby leaves. They're obviously not mature. These may not even be mature yet. Probably have a little ways to go. It looks like, I don't know what that is eating them. Well, I guess we should maybe investigate that further. But anyway, it's almost a little sweeter, just less mild maybe than the green wave. I really like that. I like both of them. A good combination between the good variety, I should say. All right, got another pointy guy here, right next to our champion radishes. But as you can see, they're doing their thing. Got a hole here. Some sort. Got a root there of some weed. This place is getting overgrown in here. I'm gonna have to do something about that. I still have some onions doing their thing. They're really hard to see because they've been butchered by perhaps what's ever living here. Whatever is living here. Try to see some of them. Also some little hopping bug I see. Here's one onion. There's one that's probably going to end up coming up somewhat. And between all of these radishes were our celery transplants that didn't do anything. I actually have more celery. I forgot to, well, I didn't show yet. We'll get to those. They're out on the porch right now. I might put them back in here because there will be the same amount, maybe even more if I do them correctly this time. I was thinking about doing celery seeds, not celery, doing carrot seeds, which is what's on the other side over here with those radishes, because these are all radishes on both sides that are coming up, and then the onions in the middle. I think there's one here. Yeah, okay, so there's a few onions. There's one here, one there. So maybe 4 or 5 coming up. We do have more that we bought, so I'll just put those probably in where the others were to fill them in. They look really nice. Alright, see if I can find a small radish. I'm sure I can, because this is really dense, very, very dense in here. Sometimes hard to see which one's where the main stem is. It's possible that most of the small ones died back. So one over here maybe. They'll look really nice and big. Okay, let's try over here because the other side was just looking really nice. How about right here? Surely one of these is smaller. If you can see down in there, I mean, they just look amazing. Here we go. Oh, I just gotta take one, I guess. Whatever. Here, this guy. Take this guy.
Look at it, look at it. Oh man. Hate to do it. I hope I can get the whole thing out. That's the whole thing. Ah. I guess that was enough of it. Not massive, but I guess it's very there's just so many in there. I guess that's the reason you want to thin them out, because that's all you'll end up getting. Tiny little guy. Down the hatch, I suppose. That's work. Pretty good. I think you can eat the. Actually, that's really good. It's quite sweet. Quite sweet radish. I think you can eat the leaves too. Don't quote me on that, because I don't want you to die. And I'm not going to do it because I don't want to die. I'm sure they're fine. I'm going to go on a trip now. Across the yard. Don't mind the coughing. It's been a coughing kind of month around the place. Whoa, you can see here our little patch of strawberries, wild strawberries. Coming in okay, I suppose. I've only been back here to mess with them once or twice. But not bad. I just want them to take over this spot is all. I don't really care about what comes up, but I'm sure there will be a lot of those tiny guys. And now, let's just wander off in this direction and see what's how. Oh my goodness. Look how grown in that's gotten. I didn't even realize, because I've been doing other things. I've actually been other places doing some things. This place. I'm sorry, chipmunk. This place has gotten a little overgrown. There you can see our what is, I guess, becoming compost. What do you think about that beautiful little path? I'm gonna have to cut through that. I'd like to make a little area back there. It's kind of surrounded by the pines, but if you look up to these pines, you see they're not looking amazing. They've been here a very long time. They're very old, but I think something needs to be done with some of these, at least lower branches. There is growth, as you can see, on some of them. You can hear the geese very well down there most of the day. Right now I don't know what they're doing. Here comes another truck as we head to the other side. I guess this would be the south side of the property. A lot of bird activity in the area. This is an old apple tree. Not really old, only actually a few years, but it's not the best. It's, might have some apples this year. It's actually, I think, the only one we had, so it's tough to get anything to fruit if you only have one tree. Out here, though, in the giant grassy area, we have where all the grapes and all the apples will be. So here's one of the grapes. And depending on when this was done, there could have even been some marigolds out here. I don't know if they're going to go around the grapes, but they're definitely going to go around the apples, the marigolds, that is. And I haven't been out here in a bit, but it's nice to see all this new growth here. I don't really like how this branch is against this other one, especially because there's a leaf node right there and some leaves trying to form like right into that. Got a little bit there. I don't know if that'll probably come off later. It's pretty low. But yeah, there's something. But here, there's the failed spot. I think it got mowed over, so, but that's okay. Maybe it would have come up, maybe it wouldn't have. It doesn't matter, because now we have these. These are the seedless Concord grapes. This one, I think it's coming up pretty nicely too, I would say. A little better with the branching out. In fact, I don't think it was even this far spread apart before, so I like how it's kind of opening, this one's opening itself up. Has a lot of leaf nodes starting right around the base here. And you go over this way. First, there's our beautiful sand mound, which may even have wild black raspberries or blackberries all over it. I'd like to clean it up a little and find out. Here's our Ruby Macintosh that actually is being pollinated currently by this nice looking little bee. Hi, little bee. Oh, and some other, oh, is that a little bee? Maybe he'll let us get a shot of him here. I want to let these apples kind of just do their thing. But I did just watch a really instructive video today about the need and how to properly prune your trees back as they grow, especially when they're smaller. But this one's looking beautiful. That was a stink bug. We had a stink bug. Glad I saw him. Wonder if there's any natural ways to get rid of those guys other than flicking them off and stepping on them, because if you don't see where they land, well then flicking them off isn't going to help much. But I did get them. I really like the look of these flowers. Really beautiful flowers. We're finally out here. I guess before we get there, look at all these lovely little wild strawberries coming up. Our other apple tree that we just got. This one, a Honeycrisp, which is apparently super popular. Not surprising, the apples are amazing. It was already flowering when I brought it out here. It's been out here maybe almost a week. Maybe right after the last video was when I did this. And now that I learned a little bit about what apples and other fruit trees should look like, I'm very concerned about this one because of this branch. There's double branching going on right here. And also the fact that they're going off, both off that way. We don't have one nice one sort of coming straight up. If anything, I guess I would think about maybe cutting this one off and leaving this one to be the dominant branch, and hopefully it'll work its way back. But that means it's going to always have this interesting bow going on here. Looks like they were already trying to train these branches, maybe this one, because there's a cut right here too. Unfortunately, they should have taken both. Maybe this one's sort of newer though. It doesn't look like it. Come in for another close-up, because again, apple flowers are they just are so nice, right? I love them. You can just get them just for this purpose. I would think they're almost like, cherry blossoms, apple blossoms. You can't go wrong, right? They all in the rose family too. It's like roses, apples, all this stone fruit type trees. I came back to this one for a second because I wanted to look now again at the structure that this one has going on. As there's another different looking bee here this time, doing his thing. But I guess they're both okay. I guess they are both pollinators, right? So there's also some other little guy here. I don't know about him. I don't know if I like him. Okay, anyway, this one has this nice one dominant lead branch here. Love this. Has a lot of little tiny guys here. I don't know about all that. Has a few nice ones coming off, two here I like. There's a few more here, and then up here too. It has a ton of branches already that are making a nice. Sorry, a lot of traffic today. We'll make a nice, I think, canopy in the end. And I think maybe some of these can be kept as well. I don't hate the whole small plant thing. There's something going on with that leaf. I'm plucking this. I'm taking this bad boy out. It should be fine, but look, that might just be bird poop. But it's something. Anyway, this tree structurally much better than the Honeycrisp, I would say, for sure. Alright, now out sort of in the front of the yard here, you start nice little decorative wall area. First wanted to show just how high this grass is getting already, and that's why it's pretty much necessary we put those trees, apple trees, in the ground. I mean, look. We're here, the nice lavender, I would say, coming up decent, pretty decent, even though it hasn't been cut back. We have all this dead old growth up here on both of them. This flower came from one of these, I would imagine. I don't know what happened to it. It was one of the nursery flowers. Could have just been pruned by somebody else. The other lavender, pretty nice. If I knew that we had all this lavender, I would have been harvesting it. I should do it now. Honestly, there's so much. I should probably get some now. I just don't know how to do it or what to use it for, other than to dry up, and I guess you could use it in tea fresh too. I also wanted to try making some incenses and things like that, so maybe we could use it for that. I wanted to show finally over here these raspberries. This guy is massive. I would imagine it would really like to go into the ground. I should do it at some point. It's gonna go way in the back there where we saw that wild strawberry patch. In fact, I would like the wild strawberries to take over and grow as ground cover for these guys. He's hanging out. Maybe you can see it has some flowers already forming here. And we have this one too. If I can get it the right position. A few flowers also, I think, forming on those. Just a few. Not nearly as much growth as the one back there. But it's certainly growing. There's actually it looks like three different plants coming out of here. So that's pretty cool. And speaking of blackberries, or black raspberries, not sure which, we have these growing wildly on the corner of this weedy area, which I've cut back a bit so you can actually get around. You could even use another cutting, I would say. But again, as you can see, if I can do this without hurting myself, a lot of flower buds. They look a lot the same as the other one. Some of these stalks so big I can't even get them all on camera. This one in particular, these two in the back. So I try to maybe bring this one down. I can't even. It's a pretty sturdy guy. I don't want to hurt him too much, but look at how nice and massive that thing is. I know it doesn't look all that great at the top, but again, big flowers forming. We always get a lot of blackberries. I think they're blackberries off of these, so I know they're going to come. Without even taking care of them, they come back like crazy every year. So should expect them, I guess, in maybe a couple months. We'll see. Where you at, Chippy? Where you at, Chippy? Oh, he just ran under my car. Hey, Chippy. He's gonna go to the other side of the house. Either that or he'll try to run this way into the jaws of that beast. Yes. that mighty beast. What was that? You probably couldn't hear it on camera. Oh, oh, uh-oh. It's one of those attack jobs, 2 o'clock. Well, the temperature is getting to that point that it seems like in the wind and everything, the sky, it almost seems like it may rain. So I guess I should hurry with this, but I'm not going to skip out on you. Got a lot of plants from the nursery still here that haven't been, nothing's been done with them. Massive V just fell off of this thing down there. Sydney's found a bug. I don't know what it is, so I'm going to kill it. Marigolds, tons of marigolds still. Only 4 of those, maybe more. Maybe 2 on each fruit tree. That would probably be good. I don't think it needs 4 on each fruit tree. 2 should be decent. I saw that they're also self-seeding, and so I guess the goal would just be to have a nice marigold patch the whole way around eventually. It might only take a year or 2 to actually get to that point, so we're going to try to do that. Nasty bees still around here somewhere. I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy, but anyway, we'll get back to the peppers in a second. Over here, more of our nursery plants. This is a bunch of wormwood that should probably go somewhere other than right where the dog can get it. She doesn't seem to have any interest in any vegetation whatsoever though, even the good stuff. So I'm not that concerned about it. She just likes eating things. Food. She's the most carnivorous dog you could probably imagine. Got more lavender. That's this crimson phlox, moss phlox stuff. But these are lavender, which will probably be going in the front where I just said the chipmunks are making their colony, or already have their colony. Unfortunately, we're going to be vacating them as tenants over there, and putting most of this stuff over there because they don't like it, so they'll go somewhere else. Got some stuff here already planted up, of course. It's been there for a bit. Here, I'll check these out later, but no, maybe not. Here's this red basil I have. It's not honestly looking that great. It has some decent growth actually in there. You may or may not be able to see. Certainly if I hold it up to the camera. It has some nice new growth. There's really, not a ton in there. Smells amazing. Can't get enough of that. And then more flowers. Excitingly, more marigolds too. They're really the only ones I care a whole lot about. I'm more for the flower, or some of the other ones too, but I'm more for the things that are beneficial for reasons, not just look pretty, which might be what these are. Just pretty looking flowers. Things to pretty up places. Petunias. But the thing about it is that a lot of the beneficial flowers and plants also look really pretty. So it's like a 2 for 1. There's a lot of loud vehicles around here too. Speaking of lavender, that's down here. This is my lavender. You can see the similarities, right? Yes, it's like the same thing. No, but really, I guess these are going to look okay. I mean, they're not completely terrible. I don't know what's up. They're kind of turning a little bit of a color there. This one looks really nice here. Here is a marjoram. The top cutting from one that we had in the hydroponic system inside. Rooted it in water. Came up really nicely here. Let me give you a little bit of a close-up of that. I really like the way it's looking with all these very, very tiny nodes. Every single leaf has another node coming out, just like my other one. We'll see in a little bit, the other marjoram. This one I was considering giving to my sister. It looks really good though. I might have to keep it for myself. No, I'm just kidding. I think I'll give it to her soon. It's certainly ready to be given away, I think. As long as she doesn't kill it, I will happily give it to her. As always, holding off on the lovely peppers, because to me they're one of the biggest moments. They're one of the best parts. Here we have all these seed started parsleys and marjoram. I've kind of consolidated. That's why they're in this this little tray instead of the bigger container I had them in earlier before for a while. I'm not super happy with them, to be honest. They did everything, pretty much everything just got a shot of that Miracle Grow all-purpose fertilizer, the blue stuff, old blue. So maybe these will pick up, I'm hoping soon even, because again, that stuff's supposed to work immediately. They're all growing. You can see all this new growth on the parsleys. Parsley's so hardy that I'm not completely super worried about that. I don't know what happened here. That's the first time I saw that. Something just almost like something sucked it up, or it got so dry, because I did see this kind of thing. I don't know if I'm close enough or not to the camera here, but this kind of thing happening where it thins out on the stem. I think maybe from underwatering, and so I wonder if it got so thin that the top of it just fell off. I don't see it, so I'm not sure. It also may have gotten eaten by the beast, but I don't think that happened, because she didn't like the parsley. When I tried to actually give her parsley, she had no interest at all. Marjoram, I mean, it's stringy, but it's going to do its thing. That's the one thing I think about herbs that is nice, at least for maybe beginner gardeners. Don't take me at my word. I mean, you can take me at my word for what I think to be true, but I don't know if this is actually the case. It just seems that it makes sense that herbs are a good way for beginner gardeners to start, because, I mean, even if you quote unquote fail, like I basically did with these herbs, I mean, the only way you can fail worse than this is if they just don't grow. If you get them to grow and then they don't die, also, if you look back to the initial first few episodes of the garden vlog, you'll see how many herbs I can actually kill. But once they're growing and they're actually established, like most of these fellas, I think, yeah, you can't really go wrong at this point, because you're at least getting the leaves. They're gonna hopefully even flower for you, and then go to seed, so you can collect the seeds, and then you'll have more seeds, or they'll self-seed, whatever the case may be for whatever the specific herb is that you're growing. But yeah, even though these basically failed, I would call these all pretty much all failures, but at least I'm getting the leaves. I can harvest, even if they're small. I can take those leaves, I can do something with them. And again, the seeds as well. Get the seeds eventually if you let them keep going. So nothing, I suppose. These can use a trimming. A lot of things can use a trimming around here. All right, we will check out what's going on here now. Most of the lemongrass still left. It's actually not looking amazing. To me, it doesn't look great, but I don't know what it's supposed to look like, so whatever. Here's the onions. You can see there's 4 trays of them, which have 4 each. So me and my amazing math skills, we have 16 more onions, and I can't remember how many I planted. I think I planted, I may have had about 20. So just about the same amount as what I had, about 10 times bigger, if not more. These are candy onions instead of the I just have yellow Spanish. I think these are also yellow Spanish sweet onions, right? Or just some type of sweet onions like the yellow Spanish, I believe are. I'm not a big onion guy for other people. These are apparently very sweet though, so we'll see. Maybe I'll try one and hate it completely, like everything, all other alliums other than garlic is decent, okay, I guess. Not by itself though, no. Let us zoom in here on all these strawberries. I'm going to start down on this end. I suppose I'll first start actually with the potatoes and these wild strawberries that I've been growing, that I plucked out of my own ground. I don't know what that was. I don't know what these are. I'm going to let that one grow just because I want to see what it is. Probably some kind of weed. This one not doing as well, but hey, I mean, they're still here. They're doing their thing. I might end up just putting this whole thing in over that direction, is where that big patch is that I'm trying to grow out. I'll probably just put them there. Potatoes, you can see this one is doing fantastic, or at least relative to the rest, because I don't think any of them are really doing that amazing. This area looks kind of good, all in all. Have some black, two little black hopping bugs. I don't know what those are, but if they're ticks, I would be upset. I got them both. They smushed up probably too easily to be ticks. So anyway, I really like how these are looking. Wow. Those are some really nice smelling and very strong flowers. That's surprising. I didn't expect that at all. So I wouldn't imagine that it's going to be too long before this guy starts fading away. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's gonna, how much it'll go to seed or whatnot, but again, even if most of these potatoes don't work out too well, you can probably just use them to grow more potatoes, right? As long as they're good enough to grow as seeds. All right, and now we will back off to these strawberries, but first I will show you this one, which came just out of there. This is one of the everbearing. It's the red flowered everbearing. You can see, because of my neglect, it has itself a couple strawberries on it. In fact, now that I found some clippers to use, I'll probably clip them all off, as much as I hate to do it. I know in the long run it's supposed to help out, and the goal is to get, I'll show again, the goal is to, I think, get the runners to establish themselves in the sides there. That's what I'm going to try to do. We'll see, but that means that I needed to focus on not only the regular leaf growth, but I do want it to focus on runners, which it has really none of. This looks like it might have been, but it turned into a flower instead. So yeah, hopefully it'll send out one or two that I can do this year, everbearing again. So this is I guess our first harvest of a couple little tiny guys. I could just let it go. I know that you're supposed to, the only reason, I guess, to trim them off is so it focuses the growth on other places. So it's not like a do or die situation. These are Toscanas. This one actually might be an everbearing. It's hard to tell. I think that's a red flower. The Toscanas have pink flowers. This is one of the red everbearing. And this fella here, coming out a bit funky, but that's okay. Anywho, these Toscanas, I think, are June-bearing ones. They look pretty nice too, I think. I wanted a bit of a variety. Have a bit is pretty much it, all we have. I would like found the Day Neutral is the other type. Those may be the best type to go with, I'm not sure. But you can never have too many strawberries. I certainly don't think you can. We plan to put most of these in the same patch all together. I think most of the everbearing, at least. Well, I guess the Toscanas too. The June bearing, we'll put mostly, all in the same area, and just let them go crazy. Just a massive strawberry patch is the goal. Maybe over by where the apples and the grapes are going to be, a little off of those a bit. There's actually a nice little slight hill there, so maybe we can even plant them on that hill. I think they like the slope. And over here are the rest of the strawberries, and also, of course, this basil, our nursery bought sweet basil, which looks much better than anything we did. This one's actually growing much nicer than that red basil that's just over yonder. Also from the nursery, same place. Just a local place, fantastic place. I mean, they have amazing plants, as you can see. Again, this one just, that smell. It's heavenly. Anywho, yeah, again, breaking all of the strawberry rolls here, because they may be in their second year. I'm assuming they're just in their first year though. And I bought some that already had runners. This one has a big runner on it too. I should probably put in something. But I used them all. I took all the runners. In fact, some of these are probably planted up enough that I can snip them. That one, and this one here. So I'm gonna have 3 new ones. I had 15 to start. I have 3 more here. I want to say it's getting hard to tell because right now they're not flowering. Most of them don't have flowers. These are the regular white flowered ones. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 probably here that are all white. Obviously a red one here, and that one's coming to this one. So I'm gonna have 1 more extra red everbearing. This one's another everbearing. I think they're all everbearing, in fact, that are doing this. Yeah, that's right. But I can't see any leaves on either of those, so they could be red, could be white. And of course, like I said, I'm neglecting pinching off all the flowers, so we almost have our first strawberry, and I'll eat that one on camera too. I know that's going to be a rough one. That's going to be like, it's going to be like Fear Factor level drama. These, of course, mostly just little herbs we have. Here is actually, this is our arugula. All we have really going now is the arugula. We had a bib lettuce here, failed. There it is, actually. These are all arugulas that failed, honestly. You know what? I don't really want to deal with these anymore. So we're just going to get rid of all of them. I am going to replant, directly sow some more arugula in here. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to sow it full of lettuce, maybe 1 arugula in the middle, because I don't care for arugula. This guy might be done. I topped it right here. Never mind. It looks like it's leafing up again a little bit. 1 here, 1 here. So I'd top it right here because it had started to flower. It has another leaf node down here at the bottom. So that's decent. That's decent. This leaf should come off, but I'm kind of waiting because it's not like it has that much to work with. But it is, you can see it kind of got burnt and then stuck to the side of the planter there and damaged. Over here, this one is just actually, this one's beautiful. It's come up really, really nicely. It didn't have as many issues as this one, even though this one was by itself most of the time. I don't know what happened. It was maybe because it grew too fast and it wasn't outside yet. Now this one was slower. Finally, when it came out, it's just like, oh yes, I love the sun. Boom. I mean, it's looking beautiful. I don't think, oh, you know what, I did top it. I did top it because I thought it looked like it had a little flower bud forming. And so I caught this one early. I think it's going to keep going for a bit longer. This one I could probably, I guess it's still going, so I'll let it go. But if it would continue, I think there's some way, like if it just keeps flowering or something, or if it doesn't want to come back, then you know it's done. It's not going to come back. You can just pull it. But I think we'll leave it go for now. I should plant lettuce in here soon. There's no reason not to now. I mean, look at all that room I could use. Pretty much what I would do. Put them in the same places again. Get a nice 2, 4, 6, 7 in there. Anyway, we'll jump back to the small things. All the small things. These really need trimmed up a little bit too. This was one of the things I was most looking to trim, just because it's kind of been sitting like this a while. These were just the recent transplants out of that smaller little container. I think they're gonna really enjoy, even though there's 4 of them in here, they're really gonna enjoy being in here, I think. Even though, again, it's also smaller than this. Here's just 2 parsley in a bigger container than that, where there's 4. You can see just how nice. It should be a lot nicer, but I guess it's just, even though parsley is easy to grow, it is still me, an amateur / kind of still a beginner that's doing this. So, and yeah, this gardening vlog, you know, it's for us beginners. It's mostly for me to be able to actually log what I'm doing. It's easier than always writing stuff down sometimes. So it's that, and for purposes of people seeing mostly what not to do with your plants. This is that tomato, that marglobe I've been growing for a while. It has a new little leaf started. This one looks horrid. Let's see what happens. I do have plenty of tomatoes. We'll see all the other ones I have started soon. That one, I don't know, we'll see what happens. Here's my basil, my best basil. Over there, we'll see some other ones we'll check out in a second. This may be the best of the basils though. not positive, of mine, I should say. Looks pretty nice. I like that growth. Nice and stocky, which the other ones aren't. They got pretty leggy because they lost a lot of their leaves. This one only lost, I guess maybe 2 levels of leaves. So the seed leaves were probably there, and then one set of true leaves only so far. So that's not bad considering how terrible I've done with all the other ones. We'll see. And finally, here's that marjoram. We saw the top of it earlier. There's where the cut was. Basically topped it. It was getting very leggy. That top was going nuts. It was nice and bushy, and then it had this long top on it, so I just chopped that. You can see, again, just like the other one, all these beautiful little nodes everywhere. I still have some decently high hopes for this thing, even though the outer leaves don't look wonderful. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be all right. Let's move on. Here's some of the last things before we get to peppers and porch stuff, which porch stuff is probably right now the most exciting. Most of this stuff is established. We saw the apple trees and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. Those are super exciting. All the market stuff, all the things I'm going to try to be selling, I'm super excited about. I wouldn't mind selling herbs, but right now these aren't. I'm not an herb grower. Clearly, I'm not good enough at it yet to feel like I can do that. But I would love to, especially if I can just make some incenses, some different things like that. If I can just make stuff out of them, then that's not so bad. It's easier to sell that than it is to sell the herbs themselves, because no one really wants herbs, right? No one needs them. Here is where we had nothing in this spot. This is the dill that transplanted out of one of those small containers. Well, very, very small pots. Just take that out because it's done. This cilantro, same thing. Burn it to a crisp. It just couldn't come back. It's a little bit too much neglect. My big problem was that our watering system was a bit annoying to use, so that kind of turned me off from doing it for a while. Also, whenever they're very tiny like this, it makes it really hard to water them and not just destroy the plant. You can see, oh, this is another one I needed to come trim up. In fact, do I have the trimmers in my pocket? Nope, of course that would be way too easy. That would be way too easy. But you can see there's some that just need to go. In fact, this whole guy here, I'm sorry fella, you need to go. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Excellent. It doesn't taste terrible, but kind of. Still a little bit of parsley flavor, but not much. This one almost looks like it's ready on its last leg too. You know what, I'm gonna take it out just because it is gonna help. Unless I just mess the roots of the other ones up. It is gonna help these other guys as they struggle along here. But these three almost are standing up nicely, kind of. Again, they're gonna have a little more room here. These two are pretty close to each other. This one not so much. I'm gonna plant more herbs though in these corners. I'm gonna do what I had. I'm gonna do the dill back here again. Do some cilantro here. Maybe I'll do more basil since all my basil is terrible. I also have some more basil inside that's pretty small. It could even be transplanted into here in one of those like bigger square pots that's like that size. Might just throw it in, who knows. And our actual, probably the best herbs that we have so far, other than the basil that we've done. That other parsley looks a lot nicer. I don't know what's going on with this parsley. This needs to be cut off because it just looks terrible. It has nice, I mean, it has some new growth. I shouldn't say it's nice, but two small ones both coming up. I mean, pretty quick succession there for those. Although they were there about last week. So I don't know what's taking so long for that. And I think, again, everything got fertilized. I believe this is included in that. Dill, I think the dill here is picking up. I think it's established itself nicely. I'm looking forward to having even more nice bushy dill coming up. And 2 sweet basils. This one was the one I had labeled as Genovese basil. This one is the one I had labeled as large Italian. Don't know the difference. They both look like that sweet basil over there, and they look the same. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 leaves, which it's been on for a long time now, these 10 leaves. This has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, plus a couple little very tiny ones started in there, I think. So neither of them has grown a whole lot recently. Although they also have, now I look much closer, this guy has sent his growth down into leaf nodes between these leaves. That is what I want to see. The legginess has stopped. I guess that's what you have. You wouldn't put this main stem. I have no idea what I'm talking about, so this is just a guess. That it wanted more sun, it needed more sun, more light, whatever. So it kept sending all the growth up that main stem to get higher and higher and higher and higher. But now it's outside. It's been in the sun. So it probably said, hey, this is good. I'm gonna now send the growth back downward. I'm gonna, root myself more, make myself a little stockier, a little bushier, and that looks to be what's happening with both of them. I would really like to see that. It looks like there might be another one little growth, new growth of, nope, that wasn't new growth. What is that? That, my friends, is a tiny microscopic green bug. And there are more of them right here that I saw, but I just figured I didn't think anything of the little green spots. I may have smashed them up too fast to tell. That is the one thing about switching. I was just indoors over the winter doing everything indoors for the beginning of my gardening adventure, and that was nice, not having to deal with pests. Now we're outside, diseases and pests. I'm gonna need to up my game a bit. And now it's finally pepper time. Before we do it, here are those peanuts. I should actually have another bag pot of peanuts. I still haven't done them because I'm just so slow. But these peanuts are actually not looking terrible. I came out yesterday, I wasn't too sure about them, but today something's changed. I did also fertilize these. They're looking decent. They're looking not bad. Over here we have our Aleppo chili and our Hungarian black that were in those little tiny pots, little cups, I should say. And they look funny right now, but I think the reason they're so small is because they were in those small cups. And now they're in these very large containers, and I'm hoping it'll just go, yes, boom, fill it out, and hopefully we'll have some nice big peppers, because I don't want to lose this Hungarian black, because it looked really nice. It's been losing a lot of leaves, but it still looks okay. In fact, right here, I can see some leaf growth, just like on those basil. I can see some leaf nodes starting where those old leaves fell off. Let's take a closer look. Here's the Aleppo. I'm not sure. Yes, it does have some leaf nodes growing down here, so that's nice to see. Only about 5 leaves though, so we have to be careful. They're nice. They're pretty nice and green though. I think it just lost a bigger yellow one it had, so I guess we'll see. Here, the Hungarian black, looking pretty nice. It has itself 6 leaves if we want to count this very little guy, but I can see very clearly both of these leaves have new leaf nodes going out, where the leaves were, I should say, have new leaf nodes starting, and that was of course happening in the cup, but it's because they've been, like other things, everything else mainly has now been moved outside. Its permanent home is outside. A lot of things are even out, not even on the porch at all anymore. A lot of peppers, that is, and it still kind of gets a little chilly around here at night. But most of the peppers seem to be doing okay. We'll see them soon. Back ourselves up a little bit. Check out our bonsai chili experiment peppers here. This is the Ring of Fire, the only one we have from the 16th of March there. The latest of the peppers we put in. All of these I think are looking decent. Out of all the peppers, they're some of the better ones I think I have. Ring of Fire, that's like a little cayenne, baby version of a cayenne pepper. So good for bonsais because it's going to be small fruits, will be good for our very small peppers, because we want to keep them tiny. That's the whole point. We want to keep the peppers pretty small. I know you can use full-grown ones, and we're going to try that too, especially probably the ones maybe I have in there, depending on how they do. We'll see those shortly, the big potted ones you saw in the beginning. But we'll use something, one of the actual grown ones, maybe some that we're putting in the ground, some of the best ones we have in the ground this year. Maybe we'll pull them out, make them into bonsai chili experiments. But we'll also do these too. So I'm going to try to keep them small, and then eventually at the end of the season or something, move them into they might go in something bigger than this, and then move them back into something even smaller. Maybe they'll go back into something that size, but maybe I'll get some like actual bonsai planter looking things, and we'll see how that works. But these three here, these are our fish peppers. Here's the latest of them. You can see those some of our peppers have these white spots on them, and that's not right, but I think the ones on the fish are supposed to be there. Again, I think they are looking pretty decent. Not extremely leggy like a lot of the other stuff we have. It's not perfect, but it's certainly not the worst. Certainly not the worst peppers either. Speaking of perhaps some of the worst peppers. Now I'm just going to be talking about this line here and everything this way. So this line, these are all, and these, all the ones in the bigger cups, wider looking cups, plus here, are all my jalapenos that I had rooting in water. We saw the habaneros rooting in water. These are the jalapenos that did root in water. Now they're in here. They actually don't look terrible. Some of them, in fact, look better than some of the other jalapenos that they came from, where they were cut from. Unfortunately, that just goes to show you how terrible I am at this. Here, two and these three are the cayennes. Not looking as great, but there are some that are. I mean, this one's probably the best. It's not so bad. But now you can see like these leaves are pretty white. Some leaves are like basically white colored. Here's the 4 sage that we were able to get out of the seed starting units. They are actually looking pretty decent. I'm not mad about that at all. These might be some of the better herbs we have. Other than the basil, these might be some of our best. They beat all the seeds, and I should say these are the best seed started ones out of those little seed starting units. The sage are probably the best ones. We saw the parsley and the marjoram over there. These beat all those out, I would say. And the lavender. The lavender, one of those looks pretty decent. Those sage are awesome. They also smell really nice. And now all but this last row here, this is the pepper brand experiment. This is the Serrano that has been struggling for a very long time. It actually might end up, has another leaf on there. So it might, I don't know, who knows. Maybe it'll come back. What else am I going to do with it? So it's sitting here. Anyway, these are the ones from March the 2nd in the very small cups. You can see, oh no. Uh-oh. This habanero looks like it may have failed. It's not looking good. That is Rebel Gardens. I'm not liking how that looks at all. I have Rebel Gardens, I have Serenaseed, I have Sustainable Sprout, and I have Nature Zedge or Nature Zedge. Those are the 4 brands, all from Amazon. Probably just small companies or all the same company, and they're just, selling under different names. Who knows how Amazon works? It might just be one giant corporation. That would be unfortunate. But I'm going to see which one works the best in any case. And they, of course, like everything else, this was the main thing I wanted to fertilize, so they got it. Hopefully some of them will be saved. There's definitely some that don't look bad. Here's one I would say is okay. This is okay if those leaves weren't like white, almost white. It's crazy. The habaneros I'm most worried about. These earliest habaneros are very white colored. This line, actually I guess it would be all 3 of these lines here are from the 9th of March, and those ones over here are the 16th of March, those last 3 rows. I really like those habaneros. That's this middle row here. Nicest habanero I have is right there. That is Nature's Edge there. nicest habanero overall that I have, not just in this experiment. But I don't have many habaneros outside of this experiment, so yeah, this one's decent too here. Cayenne probably, yeah, it's a cayenne from the 9th. These are all cayennes from the 9th. They're not so bad. Everything else from the 16th, not too happy about, other than the habaneros. I really neglected those. If you watched that around that time of the garden vlog, you saw how those were going. They were in the seed starting kit unit just a bit too long. All right, and before we head into the porch, here is, well, these two down here are those extremely, extremely old peppers back from like the beginning of December or whatever that I did. This one is the cayenne. That one's the serrano. They had some flowers forming on them recently. I can actually see this cayenne flower very clearly now. Nothing for the serrano. Again, I just fertilized those again too. These have had a few hits of fertilizer, not all in succession. I think they've actually been fertilized really well, is what I'm trying to say. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Keep our eye on those, as we have been. Again, we've been nurturing these for months at this point, very long time. In fact, I think I planted them in the end of November, and they just wilted back because I had to go do things away from the house. And when I came back, all my seeds that I had very first seeds I planted mostly died, except these two peppers. There was actually one more cayenne, but it ended up not making it. Up here, have 8 California Wonders. I planted more because I definitely need more sweet peppers. These are some of the best looking peppers I have that I've done myself. I'm really happy about them. But again, I have like these leaves turning white, so hopefully the fertilizer will help take care of that. They've lost a few. This one not looking amazing. Some of the other ones looking decent though. Here from the nursery we got these banana peppers. I didn't have any banana pepper seeds, so I figured this would be easier than just finding some somewhere. Certainly was so far. These look gorgeous compared to mine. There's just no comparison. I mean, you can't ask for much better peppers than this, I would say. Certainly so much better than mine that it's really going to help me out. And then again, hopefully I can use these seeds from some of these that never have to buy other banana pepper seeds. Some of those might go in pots. I think 1 or 2 of them should be potted. Some will go in the ground probably. And finally, for out here, this is about as close as I can get to these guys, are 4 hydroponic peppers. The second batch of hydroponic peppers obviously didn't fill the whole thing up with them. I should do that though. I may fill it up. I have all those tomatoes to transplant out. Peppers might be next, or more tomatoes, one or the other. Here comes a tractor. I told you. I probably know him. So yeah, in the front here, in the 2 pots that are the same size, the medium ones, those are our poblanos or our ancho chilies. They're all looking about the same, I would say. I'm not super happy about, this is the Anaheim chili back here, in the small one. And I'm really not happy about these leaves. This happened recently. It's been looking the best out of the 4. By far, it's been looking the best. Still does, I suppose, but I'm not sure what's going on. Hopefully the fertilizer helps out. This is finally this is the hot wax, Hungarian yellow hot wax. So like a banana pepper, but hot, because the banana pepper is the Hungarian sweet wax pepper, yellow sweet wax. And we had our Hungarian black we saw earlier. This is the generic Hungarian yellow hot wax pepper, and I'm pretty happy with how it's coming up. Up here at the top of the canopy, see some, well, there were some nice flowers there. I topped it, so yeah, they're not there now, but it's pretty nice. That leaf probably isn't long for this world. You know, I just looked it up and found that you can eat pepper leaves. Apparently, there's obviously still solanine in them, like any nightshade. Apparently there's a more mild peppery flavor in it though. I'd really like to try, but all the leaves that I ever have end up falling off, and I don't really want to try the dying ones. And I don't really want to take off any nice leaves because I like them. Leaves are good for plants. All in all, though, these are getting relatively older, so I'm hoping that they're gonna start growing pretty vigorously. You can see again nice leaf nodes all over because they're out here now outdoors, just getting much more sun, much more warmth, all that kind of stuff. So I have some high hopes for them still, and hopefully we'll have some actual peppers coming up soon. Well, I should say hopefully we'll have some flowers coming up soon that I'll actually keep. In fact, there are some on this one that I still have there. I'll probably, and on here, but I'll probably end up pulling them off. And we return now to the porch where it's a little quieter than everywhere else because we don't have the wind blowing. The cars are a little more muffled, although they're still there. Let's zoom in. So I'm just gonna start up here real quick because this is mostly stuff that I, again, neglected because I'm really bad at keeping track of smaller potted things, apparently. Even the things starting in the seed starting units started to get neglected, but luckily in here, they get so much, it's so humid, and with the little containers I have, it really keeps most of the moisture in, so they are all doing fine. We'll see. Here's this little strawberry starting kit that I got from Dollar General. It was $3, $3 General. I just pulled out one, yes, but that's okay. I have this one that started. I guess that's something. I think it's been about 5 weeks probably since I got this, which is about the longest it should take strawberries to germinate. I'm happy I got one though. Unless it's not a strawberry, then that would be unfortunate. You're not even, I can't even, I'm not even showing you the thing. It's not even a strawberry. Might not even be a strawberry. I hope it's a strawberry. $3 kit, what I was talking about whenever I was holding it way down here, but here it is. Is that a strawberry? Maybe you can tell me. Probably show the time. I mean, the time, it's there. Just trust me. It's honestly not even looking as good as those are. These might look a little better at this point, which is sad. Here's the rosemary that I've had for a long time. A random one. Long-ish story behind that. Interesting. Kind of volunteered itself after I thought the seeds were done. I mean, I shouldn't give up on it. Rosemary seems like it's pretty hardy. I did read that it's one of the easiest things to grow, so that makes sense. Even I didn't kill it yet. Speaking of rosemary and killing rosemary, this one's dead. But this one is dead because I broke it off of the roots when I was transplanting it like a dummy. So that one's done. Should put it somewhere else so I know that. But this one, oh, look at that rosemary. Now that is a proper looking, well, not really proper looking. It looks a lot like the lavenders I have outside, but it's not. It's rosemary. At least that's what the packet told me. Smells like it. Let's give it a sniff. Oh yeah, that's rosemary. Love that smell too. Rosemary and lavender smell amazing. Thyme smells really good too. Can't get enough of basil. Marjoram. Oh, marjoram is lovely. Here's that one little tiny basil guy. He would be doing so much better if I didn't neglect him. If I would have watered him, he would be just doing dandy. He has a little water catch down here. This was like an little indoor thing. It's just a bottle with another bottle taped underneath it to catch the water, to keep it out of the soil, obviously, because it's, I mean, not very big, not very high tech. Here, I don't know what this looks like. It's not completely dead yet. That's supposed to be lemon balm. And we have oh no, this old habanero that did come up. It's been kind of struggling. It's not looking great. No, it's not looking good, unfortunately. Really hoped that would come up. Grab this basil here. Still looking okay. I should probably water it before it goes too far. This is the one I could transplant out into that bigger container. I've had it in the porch though because it keeps wilting whenever it gets too much sun. So, I mean, obviously, look at them. They're very tiny. Can't take a whole lot. That's why all those other herbs that were grown in here, the cilantro and the dill, that's why they died. But that dill that's in the pot indoors with the cucumbers, that dill came out of one of these with the other dill that died that's out there. That's the difference. That's how big of the difference it is from being in here or being out there or being transplanted into that pot, which it was done quite a while ago. If you would have watched any of the weekly garden vlog, you would have seen it. Come on now. Up here we have just a couple more peppers started in these for seed by seed. I think they're all dead. Unfortunately, the second peckin attempt failed. We're going to have to just plant like 6 of those and see what happens. I think that's what I'll do. This is a sustainable sprout serrano. I wanted more serranos. I'm really not having luck. That was actually the best one, but I neglected it too long and it dried out, apparently. I did not think that that would actually happen with that. I'm kind of surprised because it really hasn't been that long. And this is a Henkel hat. Wait, yeah, this is the Henkel Hots. Also dead. It didn't last very long though. And the Nature's Edge Serrano also came up but didn't last too long. So they're all done, unfortunately. All those guys, just gonna have to. I'll just redo them. Probably do the exact same thing in those Peckin, the 2 Serranos, and the Henkel Hots. I don't have any Peckin or Henkel Hots yet, and I don't have like a couple struggling Serrano, so we'll see. Oh yeah, and then here's another failing spearmint, but I have that really nice one outside, so I'm not too worried about it. You can also see down here we have one of the aloes. This is the one I want to get a bunch of transplants out of. Over there we have the chives. I'm not going to get too close up on those. They look like chives. They look exactly like they've been looking. I should really cut them back because they're getting a little crazy. But they're not huge. There's just a lot of them. They're not big chives though. Let us first focus in on this little table here where we have our other new celery starting. This is actually still has a ton of water in it. I need to get rid of that water because it's I think it's nicely soaked up right now from today. But you can see we have some new celery started. And I'm going to try not to let this die. In fact, I think we're almost at half germination already with this. Surprisingly, that they all came up, almost the same time. It's been indoors. It's now outdoors. I'll move it back in tonight. Keep it warmish still. In fact, I'll probably move a lot of things in. I think it might get a little cold tonight here. If it gets too cold tonight, most of these are going to come in, if not all of them. Here, well, we'll start here. I just had to try. I have all these apple seeds because, we eat apples, and I know that usually when you grow apple seeds from the seeds you get in the store, if you actually are successful, I guess it's not actually too hard to do it, but the apple trees you're going to get aren't very good. So it usually is just a waste of, honestly, years to find out. But I really don't care. We have tons of space, and if I can actually get some apples to grow out of things like this, I didn't really put too much effort into it. I stuck them in there and watered the things. I keep them a little watered and just sit them there, let them do their thing. But if I actually get apple trees to grow, I'll stick them in the ground somewhere. We'll see what happens. And if the apples are decent, then whatever. I'll eat them. I'll sell them. Can never have too many apples, in my opinion. Over here, we have our beautiful Nature's Edge Cayennes Gen 2, taken from the first pepper that I had grow successfully. In fruit, I should say. 2, 4, 6, 7 very, very, if I do say so myself, lovely looking peppers. Lovely specimens. I really, again, have high hopes for these fellows. And they may all end up in the ground, but I'm just happy that I'm going to have even more cayenne peppers. Because I need more. I failed most of those that we saw indoors. I don't know if they're going to be any good because I cut them. So I want a lot more to try to dry. I want to do more drying and do better at it this time whenever I get the second harvest of peppers. Here, next to those, are our new Nature's Edge jalapenos generation 2. These were just done today, as you can see. So nothing happening there. All of these were just done today, so we'll just get a look at them. Got half Jimmy Nardellos and half California Wonders. These are the ones I said I needed more sweet peppers. There they are. I should have even done more. I should do one more pepper tray. I just don't know which ones. It's so hard to choose. I have so many nice varieties. We're going to have maybe some very interesting videos showing all the pepper varieties and all the tomato varieties once they start coming up. I would really like to show them all. And I mean, we're going to be following this every week, hopefully. So we will see that. Over here we have half plum. This is yellow plum and half Napa grape hybrids. Tomatoes, of course. Over here, we have 4 super sweet hybrid cherry tomatoes. We have 4, I assume, heirloom, I'm hoping heirloom large red cherry tomatoes. And these are heirloom Chadwick cherries. So bunch of cherry tomatoes, got our plums and our grapes. Really happy about that. I wanna go heavy with these because these are the things I'm gonna sell. All types of different tomatoes, but I really want to focus on selling the cherry tomatoes. I mean, who doesn't love cherry tomatoes? And I'm really focusing with everything else. It's like all these fruiting things, right? So that's kind of my goal. Things that I can package up in small things, sell little packs of fruit or tomatoes, which I would count as fruit. Strawberries, whether you have your bigger fruits that you sell $1 each, or you have your smaller fruits that you pack up for $1 each. That's kind of, I think, what I want to go for my market. We live in a really nice small area, very Catholic, small Catholic community. I know a lot of the people around very well. Those are the people I want to serve, and I want to serve them well. I'm not trying to rake anyone over the coals. I would just like to sort of be able to sustain this, right? And so that's the goal. Anyway, lastly, yes, of course, as I was saying, more cherries is what I wanted. So I didn't do any more super sweet, but we will get to those. We will get more super sweet. I think I ran out of plum. And I ran out of the cherry, which is why there's only these last 3 here are the cherry tomatoes, because I'm out. All these are Chadwick cherries, which I'm sure will be just as good. But I didn't plan any more super sweet. There's only the 4 here, so I'll probably do more of those at some point. I don't want to hurry too much, but time is of the essence, as my phone is running out of space. This is a very long recording. I'm going to go up here, where I have all these things starting, all these seed starting units. Let's check those out. All right, I'm going to start on the far right side, which is mostly stuff that we've had out for a while here. Yikes is all I can say about this. Let me add, though, that this soil, this seed starting mix, was that stuff that nothing grew in. But the lettuce, apparently, it did grow. So I have a couple here that are somewhat worthy of maybe actually being eaten. They might actually be edible, these larger ones. What am I looking at here? A couple Paris Island Koss down the middle, some prize head pieces, a couple of bib, I guess, but mostly it's looking like just this one bib is probably the only decent one. So I'm not super happy about that. I do, though, have this, which is going to be full of lettuce, hopefully tonight or tomorrow. And of course, lettuce can go in the ground now, so hopefully that actually this week will be done, hopefully, because all of my patches will be excavated up. We're gonna get something in here, and that'll be hopefully shown then next week. Garden vlog, we'll see all of that done, and I'll have a bunch of patches over there by the other patch ready to go, hopefully even planted with lettuce and maybe potatoes with the lettuce, if I can get my hands on some potatoes to plant. Here is the rest. Oh my, oh my, oh me, oh my. Rest of our peanuts, which I have again also neglected. We only have, if I can get 3 more out of here, I would be happy. And I could have easily, I had at least 5 good ones, I would say. But now, not quite. Pretty much failed. This one's okay. I'd like to get 3 to go in a pot though, like the other ones. All right, and now I'm going to go to the left side. Now, first off, we had all these zucchini, 3 zucchini in the middle here, and then we have 6 cantaloupe running on the back, and these are our cucumbers. And we have 2 of each type that we saw inside, the Space Master Marketmore, Boston Pickling, and the Tender Green Burpless. So yeah, those are all redone because I failed all the other ones. I wanted to reuse the peat pots because they're still good, and I don't have any more. So all redone. High hopes for them again because I'm going to actually wash these this time. And it's almost time for most stuff to go in the ground anyway. Actually, it's time for everything to go in the ground except for peppers, I think. Speaking of peppers, here we have the first round of these burpee peppers that I got. There you go. So, got our, it's very dark here. Sorry about that. Jimmy Nardello's, our cherries, pepperoncinis, which are coming up, all 4 of them. Real nice. The cherries, unfortunately, we might have one here, but they're not doing that well, and I was really looking forward to having some hot cherry peppers. Cherry bombs, I think that's what they call them. I mean, we do have that one Jimmy Nardello there. That's the sweet pepper. The pepperoncinis, that's Greek pepperoncinis, not the Italian ones, if they're whatever the difference is. They are also pretty sweet, I think. They're very, very mild, put it that way. Our other final peppers that we have in the seed starting thing, we have, this was the 12th, and this is again another pepper brand experiment attempt because the other ones are really not doing that well, which is strange because it's not like I started them early. I started them when I thought I was able to start them indoors, but they grew so fast and I couldn't get them outdoors in time, so they all kind of failed. There you go, habanero, jalapeno, cayenne in the middle. We have one jalapeno coming up. Actually, what is that? That is the Serenaseed jalapeno that's come up first and the newest and last of the pepper brand experiment unit. And now I'm super excited to show you all of my new tomatoes coming up. Look at these guys. Got yellow plum, brandywine red, and large cherry. These were all burpee tomatoes. Almost a full germination. 3 in each, is that what that is? Yeah, 3 in each. Loving it. They are loving it. Here we have black crim, beefsteak, and Cherokee purples. 3 Cherokee purple and 2 of the others. Oh, there's actually 3 beefsteak coming up as well. Really nice. Now, I've had the tops off all of these because they were so moist, and they're actually so long now too. They're almost reaching the top, and I figure that's pretty much the time to get to take it off. So we got Romas, we got our Marglobes, and some Amish paste. 2 each, except 3 Marglobes. Sorry for the loud motorcycle guy there. It's always got to be somebody. And finally, for the tomatoes here, we have our Chadwick cherry, Napa grape, and super sweet. So our other cherry types, the Chadwick, these are all burpee as well. These are all burpee type varieties, I should say. All of the Napa grapes came up. 3 of the Chadwick and the super sweet. That's why I planted more over there, and I'm super excited to see those come up too. Probably going to be just as good, I hope. And now for the grand finales. We're starting off actually this time because we need to go over there last. Starting off with our most lovely jalapeno, the one in the pot by itself, the only single one. Can you see? Yeah, this dirt has always been very low. I really wish I could build it up a little bit, but I don't think I can. However, it's been fertilized and you can't really tell. I could get in a little closer. Maybe I will do just that. But there are new flower buds toward the top of this growth. And I am so excited about it. Because obviously we haven't had any jalapenos on here growing since that very first batch that just finished. But yeah, you can kind of see at least you can see where they would be, where the flowers should be. And some of those, I believe that one back there, I believe this is one of them, bigger one, has some flowers successfully starting. And most of the time, I would have them just die off almost immediately. I would see little brown nubs of flowers there before they even had a chance. But now there are actually new flowers here. So no need to cut this back at all. I actually did cut a few, like kind of, they weren't really, what do you call them, suckers? But they're kind of sucker-esque little branches coming off sort of lower down here. I don't think it was actually, now that I think about it, probably not really that useful to do, but I did it anyway. And so there's a little bit less growth for the plant to focus on. It's focused it all, of course, because of what I did. It's mostly focused it outward to these top pieces. So it's really becoming a long plant. So we'll see. That was probably I probably did it the opposite way I should have. But it was hard to get rid of that new growth at the top because it was really the only thing that looked decent on the whole plant. Before we go to the final pepper, the final jalapeno, let us take a look at this guy, our pot of 3 cayenne peppers. And I'm going to start with these 2 tiny guys. Now this one was actually the biggest. These 2 got cut back early on because I overreacted, I believe, to what may have been some nutrient burn. And I think I cut way too much off. So they struggled, but they're still going. We'll get to those in a second. This one, after it was done, it was kind of an experiment of mine to see what would happen if I just chopped everything off of it. Because again, it looked like everything else. It's long, straggly, not a whole lot of leaves. Certainly no flowers or anything. So I just chopped it all away. And it was nothing at all except for a nub. Had no little no little leaves at all. It was just a stump. And look at it now. Just look at it now. I mean, this thing's gonna be popping. It's the beginning of the year. It's got a whole year outdoors here that it's gonna be going. I think we're gonna have more cayenne on that for sure. Over here to this little one. I recently, I think it was after the last vlog, cut off, actually maybe it wasn't, one branch I had coming up here because it had no growth. It had like a couple leaves left on it. So again, I wanted to focus and get the plant to focus its growth on what are actually, if you can see them there, yes, 2 pollinated flowers. Those are 2 cayenne. They don't look great, but they did plant themselves nicely stem-wise into the rest of the plant. That's usually, I think, so far for me, how I've been able to tell if the flower was really going to stay or if it was pollinated but going to end up falling off soon and die. These ones, though, yeah, they're on there. They're on there pretty good. And also, you will notice, look at that bushy growth down there. I'm really loving how that looks. Again, I didn't have any of this happening on any of the peppers during the rest of their lives when they were growing indoors. And as soon as I saw this kind of stuff happening on those other peppers that we saw earlier, the second ones, the second batch that came out of the hydroponics, because these are the first ones, when I saw those start to really take off, I knew that I should move everything outside. But also I should add, because we're here now, the other reason these peppers are all outside on the porch now, I was only going to move that one over yonder out here, but then I broke my light. The light's okay. The light that I was using, the 4-pronged nice one, the light itself was okay, but I broke the mechanism to hold the tripod legs in place, and so it's basically useless right now until I fix that or get a new one. But I think I can just fix it. Whatever. I don't really want to bother. But anyway, finally, here is our last cayenne. Look at that branch. It's happening the same way the other one did. That nub we have down there on the bottom left was doing the same thing when it was growing. It focused on one branch like this, and we're going to really have to pull this one back too, I would say. Pull it back really far, but again, zoom in here. Yes, but again, look at that. 2 cayenne peppers growing very nicely on here. I'm very excited about that. And it's just going crazy with flowers, flowering like nuts. Every time I come out, there's usually new flowers. Actually, it might be done now. There may not be any new ones anymore. But again, just got fertilized. There is one more small one right here. And this guy right here, the one that's open, is fertilized. And I think that one is too. That one also might be. Wow, we might have a lot of cayenne coming off of this one in the near future. That's what I want to see. Really excited about that. And finally, the moment some of you may have been waiting for if you are only watching to see me burn my face off, but it's only a jalapeno. Come on, not going to be that bad. Even if it's a relatively large sized jalapeno and fully ripened. First, we have this one. It already had one that came off. And now that I know that they will grow back, even after they're done, if I fertilize correctly and everything goes according to plan, it will flower again. So I'm going to leave it like, actually, you know what? I probably won't leave it like this. You know what I should do with this one is the opposite of what I did with that one over there. And I should cut it right about here, I bet. Wonder what would happen if I did that. Cut off this guy, cut this right here, left, maybe even cut this off, left this go. Maybe cut this small thing off because I don't think I need that there. Oh my gracious. Look at this branch. This branch could probably be cut back a bit. Maybe even cut it back to about there. I think I might even just let that one go where it is because it'll offset the others a bit. But I could really cut this thing back, I think, and try to bring the growth down to the bottom, make it a stockier plant, and see how that goes. Because again, a lot of this is going to be experimental. This is my first true season of gardening, first actual gardening season, because again, what we did so far was all indoors until now, during the winter. So finally, here we go. We got, again, as all the other ones, coming up nicely. Again, once I get this pepper off, which is right now, maybe even cut this one down with the one in the back, cut them both down to a nice stockier plant, and see what that does. Do something a little different on each of them, just so I can see what works best. But yeah, I wouldn't doubt if this guy also starts forming some actual good flowers, because right now, yeah, you probably can't see, probably a little too close. I'll zoom in, but I doubt that it's going to do much justice to it. All these new leaf nodes, all I've been seeing are those little dead brown flowers in there. So hopefully this one that'll change soon. All right, and so here are my Vivo Sun little clippers. I like them, except you'll see, oh, now they're not there. This guy falls, and if it does, yeah, not so hard. And when you're really trying to make a precision cut and that happens, oh my, very frustrating. Anyway, let's snap off this guy. Don't need to be too dainty. It'll be just fine. All right, let me switch this around like this. Good. So this was the one last pepper that we have right now growing, at least for now. Hopefully that changes soon. Look at that guy. Nice. See a little corking going on toward the top there, maybe, or the bottom. I mean, certainly, I guess it wasn't even fully ripe. You can see a sort of a darker spot here. That's not overripe. That's unripe a bit, but And that's my fingers are relatively long. That's a decent over 2 inches, I would say. Probably going on 2.5 inches there. All right, and this is all going to go into the mouth, and it will be hot. And I am half looking forward to it, half ready to just cry, pretty much. But down the hatch, I suppose. No drink either. No drink. Gonna do this without a drink because I am crazy. Thunder, thunder, Thundercats. Oh. All I see. There we go. Swallowed too early. Actually, really good. It's big, which is why I gotta watch with. I have a terrible mouth, teeth. I gotta watch just like chomp on stuff, but that tasted very, yeah. Tasted very veggie like. I was not expecting that. This is actually extremely good, and not nearly as hot as I expected it, because I did have some other of my jalapenos that I would say were a bit spicier than that. And that one was like fully red, and I thought those were supposed to be spicier. They also taste, I guess, what do they say, fruitier? I'm not really sure. Sweeter and spicier. However you make that work. But yeah, that one was not so bad. Yeah, I like that. I like that. So hey, thank you for watching episode 11 of the Viri Christi garden vlog. Hopefully next week I'll be back to do this kind of thing again. Not with the hot pepper, and maybe with a cayenne pepper. I do have a video of my very first cayenne pepper fruiting. Me picking it. Actually, I don't know if I picked it live or not, but then I ate it live-ish. I didn't put the video out yet, but I have it. And whenever I hit 50 subscribers or followers or whatever they're called on Rumble, or even maybe if I get a total between YouTube and Rumble, if I can get 50 people subscribed / followed, then I will post that video of me eating that first cayenne pepper. It was quite an interesting experience, quite an interesting video. This one not as good because I mean you just saw me plow down a jalapeno, which is not a whole lot. It's not very hard to do. The cayenne, however, you'll just have to subscribe and find out. But anyway, I will hopefully see you. This is Tuesday. I will hopefully see you next Monday. 6-day break. Try to get this, like I said, back to Friday or Thursday garden vlog. But anyway, I will see you then. God bless. Peace.